Ever feel like you're trying to piece together a puzzle, but half the pieces are just gone?
Yeah, the sheer amount of information out there today can definitely feel like that. Overwhelming.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So welcome to the Deep Dive. We're kind of your shortcut to understanding what actually matters.
Think of us as, well, a focused lens. We take all that info, boil it down to the core insights. You get the real picture without the noise.
And today, we're pointing that lens straight at the experiences of Rose Hathaway, drawing from excerpts of Spiritbound.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you know anything about Rose's world, you know it's not exactly ordinary.
Definitely not.
But we're not just doing a plot summary here. Our mission, really, is to pull out the key insights into her journey. As she becomes a guardian, deals with these incredibly complicated relationships.
And faces some totally unexpected challenges.
Yeah,
These excerpts give us a really personal look right into her thoughts, her feelings, her actions.
we see her dealing with graduation trials, which sound intense.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And romance stuff, political games, even a pretty wild prison break.
So yeah, get ready for some surprises, maybe some aha moments that connect the dots.
And the source itself is great because it's her personal narrative. It's unfiltered Rose, her motivations, how she sees things unfolding.
Okay, let's dive in. Let's start with her path to actually becoming a guardian.
Right. What's fascinating, I think, is the contrast. You have her final trials, but then you think about the actual life or death stuff she's already faced.
Yeah.
So she has this almost casual attitude,
Mm.
confident, maybe even a bit flippant. People are betting against her, apparently.
Flipping, yeah. But
Yeah.
maybe it's like trauma recalibrating what feels normal. These trials seem almost easy compared to, Strigoi.
Exactly. Her baseline for challenge is completely skewed by what she's been through. It says a lot about the psychological impact.
She's joking about hedging bets on herself for her final exam.
And then she nails it, like completely breezes through. Her mom says it's one of the best trials they've seen.
And Rose is just like, that was it.
Yeah.
Almost disappointed.
It really shows how facing Strigoi, those are the bad undead vampire she fights, and Dimitri, that whole situation. It just changes your perspective on everything else.
Totally. And then the Guardian Mark ceremony. How does that compare to the Molneja marks she got before?
Okay, yeah, good distinction. So the Molneja marks, those little star tattoos.
Right.
She got those for Strigoi kills, usually in really tragic, sudden situations, attacks, rescues, gone wrong. They were tied to loss, to mourning.
Oh, okay.
But the Guardian mark, that's a public ceremony. It's a celebration. It marks this huge life shift, end of school, start of real responsibility.
So less about mourning, more about stepping up. A big weight, though.
Huge weight. Moving from just surviving to actively protecting people.
Okay, speaking of complicated, her relationships. Family first. It sounds sketchy is the word used, right?
Yeah, sketchy with her mom. Her mom's a guardian too, but there's distance,
Yeah.
tension, something's there.
And the dad situation.
Practically non-existent until recently.
Yeah.
Just found out he's a Moroi she never knew.
And not just any Moroi. There are rumors. Illegal stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that nickname, Smay,
The serpent. Yeah, in Russia. Paints a picture, doesn't it?
Yes.
Dangerous, definitely absent.
makes you wonder how much not having him around shaped her, made her so independent.
Absolutely. It's a key part of her puzzle. And
Yeah.
then the romantic side, which is intricate.
Let's start with Adrian of Oshkov. Very public displays of affection, despite the queen hating it.
Right. It's like this little royal rebellion. And the description of him is interesting.
Uh.
A little unstable, but awesome.
Yeah. What do we take from that?
Well, unpredictable, maybe. Definitely defies expectations. But there's a charm, a real connection with Rose that seems to cut through the queen's disapproval.
So Rose maybe values that spark over, stability?
Could be. And then you have Adrian meeting Abe, Rose's dad.
Oh, that scene. Abe, the supposed enforcer, basically warns Adrian off hurting Rose, then just chats about something random.
Intense, right? Shows how protective people are of Rose, even this father she barely knows. You can see why Adrian was intimidated.
Yeah, no kidding. How does Rose even handle having all these intense people invested in her?
That's a great question. How much does she let them protect her versus just forging ahead, even if it's chaotic?
Right. And then there's Christian Azura, Lys's ex, now Rose's friend.
Still feels a bit tricky, doesn't it?
Definitely. There's tension, Lyssa gets jealous, and then Rose just hugs him out of the blue.
Yeah, what was that about?
Maybe trying to smooth things over, navigate the weirdness. But it definitely shows those old feelings between Christian and Lyssa haven't just vanished.
No, past relationships always leave ripples, don't they?
Mm-hmm. And then Queen Tatiana. Her attitude seems to be doing a 180.
Big time. Suddenly she's inviting Lissa, which means Rose too, to Lehigh University, after demanding Rose stay away from Adrian.
It screams political maneuvering, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Moroi queens, they have power, but it's complicated. They have to balance tradition, families, their own goals.
Exactly. It's probably not about a change of heart. Could be appeasing Adrian, could be keeping Lissa close, could be something else entirely. Her motives are never simple.
Yeah, you always have to wonder what the real game is. What's the cost?
It's like high-stakes chess, but you can't see half the board.
Okay, let's shift gears. The action part. Rose's plan to break into the Guardian security office. That's bold, even for her.
Super audacious, but what's interesting is how she identifies the need info on outside security prisons. She has an agenda.
But she hits a wall, right? Talking to Mia. It's all electronic security. Passwords.
Yeah, and Rose isn't exactly a hacker. It really highlights how she relies on her network, her friends, and just sheer nerve.
No Q branch gadgets for her.
Nope, just gotta talk her way in or break in. And she does try to get Mia's help, but Lissa's not happy about it.
Understandably, Rose tends to just spring these things on her, right? Blindside her.
It shows a real difference in how they operate. Rose is all action, risk taker. Lissa's more cautious, thinks about consequences.
Raises questions about trust, too, even if Rose means well.
Definitely. And then, perfect timing, Christian just walks in while they're plotting.
So awkward. Just underscores how tangled their lives are. Secrets are hard to keep.
Adds a bit of almost sitcom humor to a very serious plan.
Speaking of awkward, the Ivashkov dinner. Meeting the parents. Rough.
Especially those parents. Lord Ivashkov barely looks at her. Ouch.
Brutal. But Lady Ivashkov is surprisingly okay with her. That's weird.
Totally unexpected. You'd think she'd be resistant, too.
And then Queen Tatiana just pops in, unannounced, and acts like she's fine with Rose and Adrian now.
It just reinforces that feeling of hidden agendas. The Queen's public face might be totally different from her real thoughts, serving some other purpose.
Keeps you guessing, always analyzing.
So, after navigating that social minefield, Rose keeps digging for info. She runs into Mikhail Tanner in the archives.
And this feels important. He seems to get her.
Yeah, there's this connection. He's apparently lost someone to Strigoi, too, so when he warns her about finding someone who doesn't want to be found...
It hits home. Because of Dimitri.
Exactly. It's like shared grief creates this instant understanding. He might not know the details, but he gets the drive.
And that seems to push her forward with the prison break plan. She's gathering documents with Lissa. She even puts on a Guardian uniform.
That uniform detail is interesting. It's like she's trying to be professional, project control, even though the mission is completely off the books.
Unlike Sydney, the alchemist. Organized, methodical.
Maybe trying to be. A sense of responsibility creeping in, even while breaking all the rules.
But she needs help. She recruits Eddie. His loyalty seems absolute.
Yeah, he owes her big time for saving his life. So he's in, even though it's dangerous, probably illegal. It shows how strong those bonds are.
And they're using magic charms for disguise. Lissa charming rings and bracelets.
Resourceful, whatever it takes. And Adrian's cover story, A Girl's Getaway. Kind of hilarious.
But then he mentions he can visit her dreams. So they're trying for secrecy, but they're not totally off the grid.
Always connected. Okay, so stage set. Prison break time. Alaska.
And the first thing is, it's not icy tundra like she expected. It's grassy.
Yeah, a little touch of reality grounding the fantasy. But then they get serious, scouting the prison.
Watching security, figuring out the weak spots. They spot a truck, an SUV.
And that becomes the plan. Just drive in. Eddie's nervous, but he trusts Rose. High stakes.
Classic Rose. Bold. Maybe a little nuts. And Lissa has to use compulsion, mind control, on some Moroi guard.
Northwood, yeah. To fake an emergency with a feeder named Bradley, super risky.
And then they find out they're Dampier prisoners, too. Just adds more chaos.
Totally unpredictable. Their world isn't black and white.
And then, Victor Dashkov. Face to face, Lissa must be freaking out.
Oh, absolutely. So much history there, fear, anger. But Victor, even weak, feeds on Bradley almost immediately.
Grim. Shows that basic need is still there, overriding everything.
Highlights the danger. The escape, then, is just manic. Following this guy Giovanni, security checkpoints, the surveillance room.
Straight out of a movie.
And Lissa's struggling to keep the compulsion going.
Pressure's mounting.
And bam! Alarm goes off. Plan falls apart.
Time to improvise. They fight Guardians, take down Giovanni, and then Victor agrees to lead them to Robert. Why?
Good question. Victor always has his own angle. Robert must be useful to him somehow.
And why Las Vegas?
Maybe anonymity? Resources? It fits Victor's style, probably. Somewhere
Yeah.
chaotic.
So off to Vegas. Quite the change from Alaska. Sensory overload.
Big time. And then Adrian shows up, unexpectedly, freaked out about the prison break.
Understandable. He cares about her.
And Rose drops the bombshell. She's trying to find a way to save Strigoi. And Victor might know someone who did it.
Adrian must think she's lost it. That challenges everything they believe.
Totally. It's a massive revelation. And then they meet Robert, this reclusive guy in the middle of Vegas.
The irony. And he's cagey, right? Talks about a special steak, charmed with spirit.
Cryptic stuff. But Lissa connects the dots. Spirit heals. So maybe a spirit-charmed steak could reverse it.
Whoa. That's the aha moment. A potential cure.
It's huge, the thing they've been desperately hoping for, but just as they get this.
Dimitri appears. Out of nowhere.
Chaos erupts, fight with security guards, Rose and Eddie have to run.
And Eddie is not cool with this saving Strigoi idea. Especially Dimitri.
No way. Eddie's got the standard Guardian view. Strigoi are the enemy, end of story. Saving them sounds crazy, dangerous. Especially Dimitri.
It's a totally understandable fear. But Rose is still clinging to hope for him.
Yeah, it's this core conflict. Her past love versus the reality of what he is now. It's a huge ethical split.
So, after Vegas, they regroup with Lissa and Adrian. But Victor and Robert are gone.
Vanished. The cover story becomes a wild weekend in Vegas, which isn't entirely wrong.
But there are consequences back at court.
Oh, yeah. Lissa gets told off. Eddie might lose assignments. And Hans threatens Rose with a desk job.
A desk job for Rose. That's like torture.
Pretty much. And she's still torn up inside about Dimitri. Right. Regretting not killing him when she could have.
That internal struggle is rough. But Adrian visits her in a dream. Offers some comfort.
Yeah, it's a nice moment. Shows he's still there for her, hinting maybe they can move forward, maybe their relationship can actually grow.
But she's still searching for answers. She talks to Mikhail again, learns he was also trying to save someone from being Strigoi.
That shared experience again. But she doesn't tell him about the spirit stakes yet.
Why not? Too uncertain, false hope.
Maybe both. Or just not ready to share something that huge yet. Still processing it herself.
Meanwhile, Lissa's off to Lehigh, looking towards a normal future. But Rose knows about the stakes, the potential cure. It must feel weird.
Definitely a clash. And seeing Lissa with other guardians, Serena and Grant, Rose feels kind of irrelevant.
Like her main purpose, protecting Lissa, is slipping away.
Yeah, maybe a fear of being replaced or just her whole life plan being upended.
And then, Dimitri's back. For real this time. Lissa sees him.
Surreal. Absolutely surreal. The impossible happening.
But it's not a happy reunion. Soon after, Lissa gets captured by Strigoi.
Oh, God. Rose must go into overdrive.
Instantly. And Adrian is begging her to be safe. But you know, Rose, Lissa's in danger.
Nothing else matters. Loyalty is everything. Rescue mission time.
And another confrontation with Dimitri. Is definitely Strigoi, still hostile.
The transformation is real, undeniable.
As Lissa tries the spirit stake on him. But she struggles. There's this weird white light.
Whoa, white light. What does that mean?
No idea. It's mystical. Maybe the spirit magic did something unexpected. Because Dimitri survives.
He survives being staked with the spirit stake. That changes everything. Again, so many questions. What is he now?
Yeah, exactly. The aftermath is just tense. Rose feels alone, totally unsure about Dimitri. And when she talks to
Lisa
him,
rejects her, tells her to stay away, claims the love is gone.
devastating. Just crushing. Forces her to face that the Dimitri she knew might really be gone.
But she refuses to give up on him. Still.
Really, that deep connection is hard to let go. But Adrian, he's still there.
He acknowledges her feelings for Dimitri, which is huge, but says he loves her.
And Rose.
Yeah.
She decides. She's going to really try with Adrian, commit to it.
That feels like a major step. Choosing a present, a future, even with the past still haunting her.
Yeah. But all this personal drama is happening while the political stuff is heating up too. Queen Tatiana's pushing a new law, lowering the guardian age.
Trying to fill the ranks, maybe, after recent losses? But Rose smells a rat. She doesn't trust the queen's motives, especially with Dimitri locked up.
She's getting more politically savvy, challenging the queen. That's risky.
Very risky. And Tasha Azera supports the law. Lissa gets voting rights. New alliances forming, maybe?
Seems like it. Rose even gets a tarot reading from Rhonda.
Oh, yeah. Anything clear?
Nope. Cryptic, as usual. Heartache, a trustworthy companion. Or maybe the reason for a journey. Classic tarot.
Helpful. And then she hears they're actually conscripting 16-year-olds. forcing them into service.
That's horrifying. Raises huge ethical flags. Exploitation, brainwashing. Adds more unrest.
Definitely dark. But we also see Dimitri, he seems to be changing, questioning his Strigoi nature, reacting to sunlight.
He's even helping the Guardians, giving them info on Strigoi hideouts.
Suggests, maybe, an internal struggle, a desire to make amends. There's that moment with the little Moroi boy, Jonathan.
Where Dimitri says he can still be hurt.
Yeah, subtly pushing back against the all Strigoi are monsters idea, challenging perceptions.
But he still tells Lissa to keep Rose away from him. So confusing. Painful for her.
Must be. Maybe he thinks he's protecting her from himself. Or maybe the rejection is real. It's hard to know.
So amidst this mess, Adrian throws Rose a party, trying to normalize things.
Daniela Ivashkov tries to smooth things over too. And then Rose gets contacted by someone working for Abe, her dad.
Yeah, gets a techno bag, a note. Things are escalating. Abe's involved behind the scenes.
Suggests Abe knows more than he lets on, maybe providing support. That bag hints at a network.
And then Sydney the Alchemist shows up again.
Oh boy, what now?
She's got info from Vegas, financial stuff about Lissa's dead father, Eric Dragomir. Suspicious deposits.
Whoa. Family secrets. More intrigue. Sydney's suspicious of Rose, too, right? Totally. Questions her about Vegas, about Adrian, and she says the alchemists think someone broke into their archives about Eric.
So Rose might be tangled up in something way bigger involving Lissa's family history. And the alchemists.
Looks like it. Adds another dangerous layer. And the hits keep coming. Adrian starts acting weird. Says he can't remember the night before.
Blackout. That's worrying. Is he being manipulated somehow? He's also worried about Rose, her feelings for Dimitri.
Puts a huge strain on their new commitment. Creates insecurity.
Rose feels drawn to the church, sees Dimitri there at Mass. He looks genuinely remorseful.
Maybe he really is fighting it inside. But then...
Another rejection. Flat out. My love faded. Stay away. Just brutal.
That cycle again. Hope, then despair. Makes it almost impossible for her to move on.
But Adrian, again, unwavering. Understands her pain, still loves her, commits to her.
He's remarkably patient and supportive.
And Rose reciprocates, commits back to him. There's this intense moment between them.
Right. But Rose consciously decides against getting pregnant. Too risky right now.
Smart.
Yeah.
Responsible, given everything. And Adrian respects it. Shows maturity.
It really does. Okay, so where do the excerpts leave us?
Right at the edge. Rose has an assignment coming up with Tasha Ozera.
Yeah.
She's talking to other guardians about the controversial age law.
And then, bam! Royal Guardians show up to take her into custody.
For what?
Questioning regarding the death of Queen Tatiana.
What? Tatiana's dead. And they suspect Rose.
Seems like it. And the final twist. Dimitri reacts instinctively, protectively towards Rose.
Whoa. So maybe his feelings aren't gone. But Rose decides to go with the guards peacefully.
To avoid more conflict. It's a massive cliffhanger. Her future just thrown into complete uncertainty.
Wow. Okay, so Rose's journey here is just intense. Personal struggles, political games, this whole extraordinary Dimitri situation.
It really hammers home the challenges of becoming an adult, especially with her level of responsibility, the relationship messiness, the hope, the heartbreak. It feels very real, even in the supernatural world.
Absolutely. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? For you, our listeners. Put yourself in Rose's shoes for a second. With all that going on, the duty, the desires, the impossible possibilities, how would you handle it all?
It's a lot to juggle. Definitely makes you think.
For sure. And if you want to know what happens next, and believe me, you probably do after that ending, you really should check out the rest of the Vampire Academy series.
Yeah. Highly recommended. It's quite the ride. So thank you for joining us for this deep dive today. Hopefully gave you a clearer picture of Rose's world in these excerpts.
Until our next exploration, keep questioning, keep learning,